Something I'm watching our time is flying by, but I can't not ask because I know that not only did you teach yourself to write and go out and seek the information on how to get that process down, but then you go and become an editorial intern for Geffen and ICM Partners, and you work with literary agents. How do you learn about publishing that way? How do you get that gig, and what does that teach you about publishing?
Yeah, so I don't do that anymore. I did it for about a year. It was very insightful. And so it's interesting because I don't see those jobs advertised. A lot of them are like internships, or a lot of them are unpaid. So it's kind of like free labor. But and a lot of them, if they are paid, they want you in person. It's very difficult to find a remote position. Now, the pandemic opened up a lot more opportunities for remote work. And let's see, I interned, I think it was 2019 when I interned. I think it was the 2019, that calendar year. So it might have been before the pandemic, or maybe it was it definitely was not 2020. It was 2019. It was 2019. So it was pre-pandemic, but I just asked, to be really honest. I reached out to a couple agents and I was like, do you need an intern to help with your slush pile? I have a very good eye for like finding things with potential, and I'm interested in learning this side of the business. And I got a lot of no's. I got a lot of non-responses, but I got a couple that were like, absolutely. And they took me on. What they had me do is they had me read a sample manuscript. I want to say it was like 50 pages, not a whole one. And then they had me give them my editorial feedback, and they used that to decide if I was a good fit or not. And that was quite kind of, once you get one internship, you can use that to get another one, because I interned at 2 different agencies. And it was really great. It showed me sort of the inner machinations of a business that I only understood as a querying writer. And like the business of publishing, which is something that writers often don't think about, is something I found really fascinating. How a story can be fantastic, it can be engaging, it can be great, but if an agent has no idea how to sell it, they have to pass. And like when you're the writer, it just feels so defeating. You're just like, but isn't my book good? But isn't, please give me a chance. And so often querying writers will leave that rejection experience and think my book is not good. And that oftentimes is not it at all. It's just, if they can't sell it, I mean, their job is to take your manuscript and sell it. And they have to know editors who are interested in that. They have to know that there's a market for that, or at least they believe there's a market for it. And they have to understand it enough to be able to pitch it. So you have some agents who are passing on great stories because they don't understand it enough to be able to talk about it in a persuasive way. If they can't pitch you well, they're wasting your time. And so it really is about finding the right agent. I am on my second agent, who I am madly in love with. She's the best. But both of my agents were, both, my previous agent was also, I should say, very, very much the right fit for that season in my writing career. And my current agent is the right fit for the season that I'm in now. So it's a personal thing, and interning helped me understand that, because as a writer, I didn't get that. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And I still am in contact with those agents. They buy my books when I announce a new book deal. They email me and they congratulate me. And it's really sweet. I also, like, now when I'm reading, like, I randomly will mentor writers because they don't have time to do like an internship. But part of the reason I was interested in that, not only to learn about the business, but to also like be the eyes for some of these agents that are struggling to like understand potential in a story that's kind of outside of their paradigm. If it's a story by a marginalized author and they're just like, I don't really connect to this, but it feels like there's something here. I got to stand in that gap and say, yes, this is what's here. Like, this is what I see, and this is the potential here, and this could be amazing, and this is the audience for that book. So I got to advocate for writers whose books may have just kind of been passed up because I got the story and the agent didn't necessarily, until I talk them through it. And a lot of times when I would read those manuscripts, I would write full-on edit letters and I'd give it to the agent, and the agent would digest that and say, okay, I can do this. And they will offer to that writer, and then they could see the vision for the book. So I got to like stand in the gap to help other writers get a leg up. And I mean, obviously those writers don't know that because I'm just in the inbox, like minding my business and not telling, they don't know what's happening on the inside. But it was an opportunity to see how there can really be well-meaning agents who just don't get it. And if they don't connect, they're just like, I like this, but I don't know how to sell it, so I have to say no. It's a very difficult job they have. And I don't envy it at all. But so anyway, so that kind of in a nutshell was my internship. But I still do mentor time to time. And because of the relationships that I've fostered with agents in the community, when I run across a manuscript that I'm mentoring that I really like and I think the writer has potential, I will just email those agents and go, hey, this is one of my mentees. Can you consider their book? Which is helpful to them because they don't have to go through the nausea of querying a lot of times, because I can just reach out to, 8 to 10 agents who I have good relationships with, and they'll consider their work. So I like to do as much as I can to help writers who were like me, who were cutting their teeth on a book, who didn't know they could be a writer, who are writing stories from perspectives that don't get picked up often. I want to be able to stand in that gap and like bridge those experiences and help as much as I can. I admittedly do not have as much time to do that now. I offer freelance editorial services on my website because it's like I have to spend most of my time working on my stories, but if someone is wanting to put in the commitment to sort of pay for editorial services, I will go to the mat with them and do as much as I can. And honestly, I only open up to like two editing slots a year because I just don't have time. But I can't let go of helping writers. Like I remember being that writer, and gosh, every single person who would retweet me or respond to my DM or about Storycraft or like recommend a book or read a page, like it meant so much to me. And I wouldn't be an author had they not done that. So I want to do that as much as I can.